school year, which will be on May 17th. This will be low code and no code programming. Again, an awesome topic. This is something I actually use to my day-to-day life with Power Apps. So I'm super excited to even watch this myself. And then we have our 2022 WIT scholarship update. We are extending the deadline to the end of this month. Please apply. We are still looking for more applicants. We did simplify some of the requirements. So please take a look at the WIT mission application page for the scholarship. And Oksana, I'll pass it over to you for this course.
Great, thank you so much, Alex. Can everybody hear me well? I hope so. If not, please let us know. I can see there is something in the chat, but welcome. My name is Oksana Fierin, and I'm currently the founder of my own consulting firm called Harbor Lights Analytics. I have over 15 years of work experience with data. Primarily, I've been working with data and data visualization in the government sector, and I've created a number of data solutions and data visualizations that have been used by government agencies, state and local and federal government agencies, to increase accountability, improve transparency, provide better services to people. So I fell in love really with using program called Tableau, and I'll share a little bit about Tableau later today. About 5 years ago, and that really made me even love more data visualization and realize how powerful it can be. You might have heard a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, that complex and sometimes multiple ideas can be conveyed by a single still image, which conveys its meaning or essence more effectively than a mere verbal description, right? Sometimes it's hard to maybe read something, but when you see a picture, a powerful image, that it can really convey multiple ideas. And I wanted to start also just to describing or finding the definition of data and visualization. So data, if you look in the dictionary, what is data? Data are individual facts, statistics, or items of information, often numeric, but we can deal both with qualitative and quantitative data. And by quantitative, we mean numeric numbers, right? And qualitative, we talk about the words, right? When we have maybe some narrative that we're trying to understand. Let's say maybe you're trying to figure out, you're looking through the Twitter posts, right? Or Facebook posts. That can be data too, and you try maybe to answer some questions about what those Twitter tweets represent. In a more technical sense, data are set of values of qualitative or quantitative variables about one or more persons or objects. So that's what the data is, and the data visualization refers to the techniques used to communicate data or information by encoding it as a visual objects. For example, points, lines, or bars contained in graphics. And the goal is to communicate information clearly and efficiently to users. So today we're going to be talking about data visualization and the techniques that you can use to use the data to really drive your point, to communicate the information clearly and efficiently. I would like to start with kind of idea of digital data collection. Right now, a lot of people talk about the data, a lot of everybody's collecting data, right? Data is collected by many agencies, organizations, by schools, by universities. It's everywhere. And you can use your phone, right, or your computer, your laptop to access that data really easily. But believe me, when I started my career in 2005, it was very different. I actually worked on the project, and the project that I worked on, we were tasked to start collecting data from the agencies that were funded by the Department of Justice to measure the effectiveness of the grant-funded programs that were funded by the Department of Justice. But anyway, back then in 2005, there was no data available for many agencies, organizations, and they really had to figure out how to start collecting this data, right? And then how they can make it digital available for users online, because a lot of data, even if it was collected, it was a lot of times in paper form, right? Somewhere in a folder, in a binder. It might be difficult to believe it right now that in 2005 wasn't that long ago, but that was happening. And then as more and more organizations started realizing, more companies, that, okay, if we use data, we can make much better decision, much quicker decision, we can get more funding, we can provide better services, and so on and so on. They started collecting the data, right? They started digitizing that data. But then once the data was collected, they were like, okay, what's next, right? You might be familiar with using Excel and having all these spreadsheets and lots of data in the Excel sheet, but how do we go from just collecting the data and storing the data to really being able to get insights from the data? And that's where data visualization comes in. It really helps you to answer your questions quickly. This is usually how the data looks like. Initially, maybe somebody's, and I decided today, because most of us are familiar with COVID-19, and I decided to use it as an example for today's session. So this is the data about COVID-19, and I actually found it on the City of Chicago website. I'm just gonna go and show you. If you don't know, the City of Chicago has a data portal that has a lot of open data sets, data available, and it's about different topics and subjects. So if you're interested, you can go and take a look. But this particular data set about the COVID-19, and you can see we have various columns here and rows. So we have, for example, a column that tells us the date, or I guess when the case occurred, and then the total number of cases. We have information about deaths. We have information about hospitalizations, and then the ages, right? We have these columns for 0 through 17, 19, 29, and 30, 39. So we have lots of data. If you scroll to the right and to the kind of up and down, and usually you can download this data set and then use it for your analysis going forward. But I mean, this is great, it's all here, it's all available. But if somebody, like if you have a question or somebody has a question for you, so please tell me right now, are the cases going up or cases going down, right? Or is the number of hospitalizations going up right now or down? It's hard, right? It's hard to tell. Okay, we have all these numbers, but it's hard to answer this question. And again, that's where the data visualization comes in, because we can use this data set to really create different visuals that can help you to answer those questions really quickly. And by visuals, I mean there are various charts that you can use to kind of deliver your message or to answer questions really quickly. And the charts can have different meanings. So we can use charts to compare different things, show distribution or composition or relationship. And here kind of you can see there are so many different charts, and I think the names change, and nowadays people create different charts on a daily basis, I can tell you. But most of the time, and I will go through a number of kind of few main charts that you would use on a regular basis if you decide to pursue data visualization in your future. But a lot of times you would use bar charts, like you can see right here, or a line chart. Okay, but there are many more. You can see we have here something for cyclical data. We can really just we have pie charts and donut charts and scatter plots. And once you have your data, you can kind of, and we'll go through it, like what are the steps, how you can figure out what is the best way to visualize it. But this is kind of the beginning, that these are the chart types that you can use to really be able to work with your data. So the first one is the line chart or line graphs. And a lot of times you would use line graph if you have time series data. And time series might sound very fancy, but all it means is that you have some kind of date column in your in the data that you're using. So maybe we have information regarding the day, the month, the year, or the time. And in our COVID-19 data set, we do, right? So if we go back here, so we have the date here. So we can create a line chart. You can see here kind of line chart. Oops, I'm sorry. Here we have this line chart that kind of show us the dates. But let me take you, I'm going to take you back to the City of Chicago website, where you can actually see not just the data set that I opened earlier, but there is a dashboard that was created using that data set. And the dashboard is just the board that has multiple visualizations, and it's called the dashboard. So here we can see that somebody took that data from the City of Chicago website, and they created different visualizations. And this first is the line chart that shows the number of cases, number of hospitalizations, deaths, vaccinations administered, tests performed, and positivity rate. So this is much easier to understand. So our question was, are the cases up or down right now? And here we can see right away kind of that the cases really went up in the end of December and in the beginning of January, but from there they were going down. And you can hover over usually a line chart, and we can see a pop-up window. And then lately it was kind of going down, but lately actually, can you see, we have the cases going up. If you pay attention to the daily average in the pop-up window, you can see that it went from 303 to 332, 413, 522. So the cases have been going up, and that's why I love the power in data and power of data visualization. It doesn't matter what you hear people say. You can make your own decisions by, for example, using the data, creating data visualizations, because it shows you right away what's happening, right? Okay, so the cases kind of have been going up, but if we look at the next chart, we can see that hospitalizations have been still going down, right? The overall, even though the cases have been going up, the hospitalizations have been going down based on the data. Deaths have been going down, and vaccinations have been kind of going up and down. Tests performed have been, I think, trending a little bit more up to, right? Maybe you need tests for school or COVID tests they're talking about, right? COVID tests performed for school or work and so on. And then positivity rate have been going up a little bit too. Can you see? So again, it's not as much about COVID, though everybody is talking about it, right? It's more about the power data visualization. That, remember, when we look at that initial table, it's very hard to know what's happening, what's going on here. But when you look at this data visualization here, you know the answers right away. So this is the line chart. And again, you can use it if you have a time series data. When we have here, we have, for example, right date. We can see that it's July 2020 or January 2021, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the next chart I would like to talk about is the bar chart. The bar charts, everybody loves bar charts and you would use it all the time. And here we can see that this bar chart shows the percentage of vaccinated as of 4/17/22. But if you go back to the website, to the City of Chicago website, these are different tabs that they have different visualizations under them. So if you go from summary to vaccines tab, you can see there are different bar charts that they use here to visualize percent of vaccinated. And they're shown here by age group. So we have 5 years and above, 12 plus, 18 plus, 65 plus. And the interesting fact, so looking here, can you see the height of the bars is very similar, which tells us that the difference is not that high, right? So that all the groups have had at least one dose. You know, we have the percentages here, but the bar chart is really great because if the difference was really substantial, this bar chart, for example, would have been much shorter, right, and this higher. So again, obviously, you always need to double check your data to make sure it's accurate. And if you have any questions, and when you work with data, you create the data visualizations. For you, it's not like to make, you know, to really drive a point or something. A lot of times it's for you to let the users to be able to answer their own questions, right? To show them what's out there, what's in the data, to be honest about it, and then they can come and make their own kind of decisions, assumptions, and so on. So, but anyway, these are bar charts. They're very, very helpful. You can use them in various ways to show different categories, different things. Okay. So the next visualization that you probably can use quite a bit is the map. The maps are amazing. And, you know, when you start working with data and creating data visualizations, you are probably going to be answering just a few questions. Like who, what, where, and when, right? So when things are happening, right? Like who is involved, like the ages maybe, but where is very important. So a lot of times people would like to know, if we're talking about the City of Chicago and cases, are they the same everywhere across the City of Chicago? What about the zip code that I live in, right? Or maybe, you know, your community area. Like, are the cases up, are the cases down? And the map can be really helpful because, again, if we're just looking at that table with different numbers, it's sometimes hard to figure out. But if you know your zip code, again, if you go back to that website, to the City of Chicago website, they have a tab, vaccines by zip. And this is the map that somebody created. And again, if you hover over, this map is interactive and it will show you some information, additional information that we're looking at the zip code 60632. It shows community areas within this zip code, right? We can see various community areas. It shows the age information, quite a bit of the total doses administered, the total number of population, and then vulnerability index is high. And if you look at the color that they're using here, and color is very powerful when we talk about data visualization, the darker color on the map symbolizes higher number of, let me just double check with higher number of vaccines, because here we actually looking not number of cases, and that's why it's important also to know what you're looking at. So this is citywide vaccine total. So the darkened color on the map shows the higher number of vaccinations. So you can see kind of right away which zip codes on the map have a higher number of vaccinations. I'm surprised they don't have cases by zip code, right? That's maybe something that if you're interested, you can use the data and try to recreate the map. Maybe if you, oh, you know, they do. So yes, they have vaccines by zip and they have cases by zip. I apologize because I was like, oh, let me see. Oh, there is a map here. That's true, there's a map here. Okay, so again, I think darker color represents higher number of cases. And if you hover over, you know that these zip codes here and like community areas such as Humboldt Park, Lincoln Park, Logan Square, as of right now, it looks like that they have higher number of COVID cases. And so again, if you live in the city of Chicago, if you have any interest, you can come and find so much information here, and map makes it so much easier to find out the information regarding the cases. You know, it's all here depending which zip code you live in. All right, so we talked about the line graphs, we talked about bar charts, the maps. Something also that you can create is infographics, usually maybe using the PowerPoint. So this is the infographic that somebody created regarding contact tracing. And I love infographics because you can put a lot of information in them. And it's not as much like the infographic, this is right, just kind of an image. It's not connected to the live data. It does have some numbers here, some data, some qualitative data, right, about what contact tracing represents and how can you help and what are the steps. But again, this is just a powerful tool where on one page you can put lots of information, lots of images, maybe lots of numbers that can really deliver information really quickly and draw a lot of attention because of the maybe, you know, how things are formatted, the images that you use. So this kind of the main data charts you would use, but as you can see that data visualization really helps with visually represent data, right? To tell the story, we can see what's happening, for example, in our example, with COVID and COVID cases in the city, within the city of Chicago, and vaccinations. So you're really able to tell the story. It's a great tool for advocacy and decision-making. Going forward, you know, if you're a student or, you know, when you become part of a company, nowadays companies and agencies, organizations use data visualizations quite a bit in different tools because it's really helpful to make decisions about anything, right? It can be about profits and losses, or it can be about, like I work for the government agencies, right? It was more about maybe, you know, how the services we're providing or the victims, like when I worked for the Department of Justice, the number of victims that were served and what services was provided, and are we lacking the number of services? So you can really visualize and show and tell the story and advocate and receive more funding, for example, going forward, or make much better decision, much quicker decision. And aids visual perception and cognitive thinking. There are various ways you can create effective charts, and one of them is to use colors. You can use colors to highlight things, and you can use colors to really make a point. So here, this is again the visualization that we already saw, showing the number of COVID cases and number of hospitalizations and the line charts. And we also have some information in the tabular form on the bottom. And here they use a color that we all know, right? We know that red represents kind of something maybe wrong or negative sometimes, right? Something we pay attention, and green, something positive, right? If you drive a car, if there's a green light, you know you can go, and then there's a red light, you know you need to stop. So here the authors used red color to show that the cases have been going up, and green color to show that the hospitalizations have been going down. They use the color in this data visualization, but have you noticed they use something else? They use also like a triangle up or down, like pointing up or down. So that's, you can play with, the other thing with data visualization can be very creative, and you can use things from your daily life to really drive a point, right? To be able to, so when somebody looks at it, at something that you created, they know right away, oh, this means that the cases have been up. And this means that hospitalizations have been going down. In the table that we have below here, the author of this data visualization, somebody who, the creator, decided to use color to highlight percentage of vaccinated. And I think that's because that's something that they would like you to pay attention to. So that's what they have been doing. There are a few important steps to take. And I really like this slide. When you think, okay, I have this data, I'm ready to start creating some data visualizations. First of all is to identify your audience and context. Who is your audience and what do they need to know? It's very, very important. Like I know when you start creating something, when you start building something, that's all you want to do. You're just like, okay, I have this data. They tell me that they need these answers. Let me just start building something, or visualizing something right away. And I always say, no, just step back a little bit, think again about your audience and what exactly they're looking for. Second is find the story in your data. Look at take some time, look at what information that you have, like the columns, what is out there. Play with it. Try to answer those questions about who, when, where, and how. Look at some patterns, trends, see if you're surprised by something or puzzled, right? Are there any relationships? And then start building your data visualization, but maybe by sketching first, right? If you like maybe doodling or just drawing something, take a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. That's what I do a lot of times. Or I know now you can use some other technology and just try to sketch first and maybe share it with your potential audience or client and say, hey, how's that? Like, does this make sense? Is that what you're looking for? But I think it just allows you to kind of, again, to brainstorm, to think about kind of what are you going to show, and what chart to use, right? Again, like if we have a time series data, maybe you say, I would recommend to use a line chart. If we have categories such as age groups, maybe you would recommend using bar charts. You know, if you have a geographical data such as zip codes and community areas, you might suggest using the map. And then maybe you can have several options in the beginning and then simplify, because it's, you know, the white space, when you create something, the white space is good. It allows, you know, less is more, right? Try not to put tons of data visualizations on the screen. I think some couple of meaningful data visualizations is better on the dashboard than maybe like 15 data visualizations, and then user doesn't know where to look, where to pay attention to, and they just lost, and they might never come back and use your data visualization again. Because the point is, when you create something, is for people, for it to be useful, right? For users to use it going forward. And yeah, so share the step number 4, disseminate, share, and use, hopefully. And it's okay sometimes to go on and rebuild, redo, maybe rethink, use the data differently, create different visualization based on the feedback that you get. So don't, you know, even if you get some feedback, somebody saying it doesn't make sense, maybe we can try something else. I'll always listen to my audience. I'll always just kind of go with that. So disseminate, share, and use. So these are the steps that I think are very important when you are creating data visualizations. So again, this just created a list of things that might be helpful. Some of them are the same with, I just mentioned, align data visualizations with the goals of the stakeholders. Consider their data literacy, right? Depending on who you're creating for data visualizations. Maybe you can create something need more information, more description, or less. So it's important to consider. Don't assume everybody's comfortable with the technology. Think about how audience will use visualizations, look at patterns, trends, and surprises. Avoid data omission and exaggeration. That's very, very important. You know, we talked about like, okay, what colors to use, what charts to use, but the most important thing is to make sure that step number one is that the data that you're using is accurate and something that you're presenting, right? And if you find an error that you're not just admitting it, maybe you're saying like, you know, I found something, I think it's an error. Maybe you're just gonna make a note under your data visualization saying that this is a particular, maybe this is an error or this is something to pay attention to, but I would never recommend omitting something or exaggerate something or show something in a way that is not true. I think that's kind of number one ethics principles that you need to think about. Choose the right chart and name, image, very important. Try sketching in paper, we talked about that. Obtain input and feedback. And again, sharing your data visualization can improve awareness and use of data. And you can always nowadays share through social media and get lots of feedback, I'm sure, right away. So we talked about, you know, the data, how you can use it, how you can create things, but what tools can you use? And I'm not sure if you're familiar with all of these tools or not, but you can definitely use PowerPoint, and that's what we're using right now, right? PowerPoint is very, very great. There are already some charts that have been created for you, and you can just insert them. You can choose the color, you can kind of play with a lot of different things. So for example, if I go back here, if we go to the insert button here, you can see that you can insert shapes, you can insert smart charts, you can also insert charts pretty quickly into your PowerPoint and create a data visualization based on the data that you have. So PowerPoint is one of the tools that you can use. Also Excel is great to create pie charts, line charts, and scatter plots and more. Again, if you have data in Excel, Excel has lots of quick ways you can create various data visualizations that you can use in your school and your work going forward. There are other programs that are available. If we go back to the City of Chicago website, you can see that this dashboard, and again, if we go through multiple tabs here, right, somebody spent a lot of times, there is lots of information and lots of data visualizations that they created. But to create these dashboards, they use the program called Microsoft Power BI. Okay, and in Microsoft Power BI, you can build this, and believe me, it's lots of fun and something I would encourage you to maybe try if you're interested. And the other program that I've been using for many years is called Tableau, and I have it open here. So this is the dashboard that uses civil aviation accidents, and I just wanted to show you really quickly. Maybe if you hear like Tableau in future, and you might say, oh yeah, I know this is a fantastic data visualization tool. It's very similar to Power BI, the tool that we just saw that was used by the City of Chicago. So let me, just because it has a lot of visualizations here. But if you kind of come here, you can see that this particular program, and I know right now it might seem very complicated, but it's not. It's all drag and drop. And it might be too much right now, but I just wanted to show you that these tools are available out there. There are some also free licenses that you can get, but for example, this tool allows you just to drag and drop things, so it's very fun to play with. So again, this is a civil aviation accidents data, and once you upload the data into this program called Tableau, it will show what columns you have available. And one of the columns will have aircraft category. So we have here balloon, airplane, helicopter, and so on. So all you'll need to do is drag and drop. There are different options, different charts that you can create. Here we can have a bar chart, a line chart, an area chart, and square and circle and shape and text. And if somebody has an interest in how to learn it, I'm more than happy to kind of show you maybe at some point. But yes, just wanted to kind of quickly show you things. Here we can do the number of accidents by aircraft category. We can sort. We can see that we have a null category, which means, I don't know, we'll have to explore and look more what the null represents. But then airplane obviously is the highest for aviation accidents. And then we have helicopter, and we have glider, and we have balloon. We can see if there's a date. There is an event date in here. Maybe something that we can use. Yeah, there is a date, and we can see the data now by year. We might be able to build some line charts. Yeah, we can. So, and you can see it's easy things to do. You can just click on different things on Tableau, and it really allows you to play with data. I'm just clicking on things here to kind of see how things can be used. But anyway, just wanted to show you quickly that there are options. Obviously, the PowerPoint is fantastic, Excel is fantastic, Power BI and Tableau are the tools that are widely used for data visualization right now. And I think that's all I have for today. Thank you very much, and I hope that helped. And I'm turning over to you, Alex.
Yeah, I do want to open up to any students just to see if they have any questions, if you want to add them to the chat. All right.
You know what, I have a question. I'm not a student. I'm actually a student maybe for life, but the question is, it seems like too complicated what you're trying to present here. How can someone like just get started with the basics? Are there, I know you mentioned a couple of tools, but other than that, are there like websites you can learn more about the concepts and just to kind of ease yourself into it?
Sure. There are, and that's something I can definitely share after today's presentation. I can look and see what I can, maybe some videos, like, because I love watching videos, you know, I think they're helpful too. So yes, maybe we can watch some, share some videos or some websites, some resources where to get started.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was super helpful. I learned a lot. I think, you know, seeing the dashboard of all the COVID stats in Chicago, I had no idea it was open. So thank you for sharing and teaching us, Oksana, today. I really appreciate having you as a guest speaker, and I'm sure the rest of the WIT mission can agree. I do want to make another reminder of our final Tech Talk Tuesday, which will be May 17th. So please sign up. Try to get as many fellow WIT mission members to sign up as well with you. Be an awesome session. And then a final reminder to sign up for the 2022 scholarship. We still have open spots available, and the deadline is at the end of this week. So, yeah. Thank you for everyone for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
please reach out if you have any further questions later. If you're interested in learning more about any of the tools, I'll be more than happy to help and to share what I can.
Awesome. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.